Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Berkshire Battalion Signal Corps. Al Kessler here. I'm joined by PA announcer Ross Jacobs.
Good day, Al.
Good day, Ross. A happy belated Thanksgiving to everybody. We apologize about the technical difficulties with the last podcast. We are back up and running here for this fourth edition of the Berkshire Battalion Signal Corps, covering the weekend that was and the weekend to come. And what a weekend it was, Ross. Traveling to Watertown, best team in the league, a resounding 7-3 victory. The first loss for Watertown in their own building this season.
And nobody expected it, did they? They were coming in after having hit a really rough patch, and a number of times against the Wolves before had been pretty one-sided affairs. But they got up there, and I don't think a whole lot of people expected it. But they came in there, and bam. Mike Dolman, I think, led that team in there. Louis George came in, did some great net minding, and there was the makings of a really great road trip.
And how about the newcomer Tyler Prendergast? A hat trick and an assist on the night. 4 points to go along with Dolman's goal and 3 assists, and Guskov's 4 assists.
There was some real talent coming up out of into this organization.
There's certainly
him and Brad Ritter's been really solid. Zach Kuda, Mike McCurtain, but yeah, Tyler Prendergast has been making his way onto the score sheet with some regularity, hasn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely has, and Louis George doing a phenomenal job in net as he made 41 saves and 44 shots in the win. Joe St. Pierre was chased after 40 minutes of play, making 20 saves on 24 shots. Jesse Chenard coming in relief. 8 shots faced him. He made 5 saves.
So is this the team, Alec, or is this the Wolves?
You're saying is this the Battalion's victory or the Wolves' loss?
Both. I mean, do you take a look at the Watertown Wolves and say this might not be the same team they were to start the season, or is this really a serious resurgence on the part of the battalion?
I think it's a healthy combination of both, to be perfectly honest. I think that the battalion are playing incredibly well right now. They're on a very big high, as we'll actually hear an interview with Mike Dolman in just a little bit. That'll be on the podcast as well, as he talks about being on that excellent high coming off of this weekend's couple of wins. But I think the battalion's definitely on a roll, and that's definitely contributing to it. They surprised Watertown and absolutely buried Steel City. Ironically, both games were the same score. But that was a huge shock to Watertown. And then, of course, the very next night, Danbury comes into Watertown and beats them again for their 3rd loss of the season. So maybe some holes starting to show in the Wolves lineup. But I definitely think it was a strong Berkshire effort that led to that win for sure.
Well, it couldn't be anything otherwise. And you mentioned that the Whalers came back in and handed them their hats as well. But now they're on a roll, and a home and home this week, and another home and home next week. So 4 games over the next 2 weekends against the Danbury Whalers.
Yeah,
this could be this could be a real make or break part of the season here. If they could make it through here with if they could make it through with a couple of wins against that Danbury team out of those 4 games, that would be a serious statement as to looking forward towards the rest of the season and into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. As the other game this past weekend, Saturday, the 29th of November, Berkshire hosting the Steel City Warriors, a 7-3 win in that one. Another strong effort from the battalion. They came out fast and furious. Martin Unak with 2 goals, 2 beautiful goals, I might add. Guskov getting back on the scoreboard. He had a goal and 2 assists, 3 points on the night, as did Mike Dolman, goal and 2 assists. And Zach Kuda, 2 assists as well. Prendergast with a goal and an assist, and Van Natter with a goal and an assist. As we'll hear in just a second from Mike Dolman, the player of the game and first star of the game on that win on Saturday night against Steel City. Al Kessler here for the Berkshire Battalion Signal Corps after Saturday night's 7-3 win over the Steel City Warriors. Here with player of the game, Mike Dolman. A Gordie Howe hat trick tonight, Mike. How'd it feel?
Felt great. It hurt a little bit, but all in all, I feel absolutely fantastic. My line was working on all cylinders, and I just feel great right now.
All right, and on another personal note, you're on a 5-game point streak. What does that mean to you?
It actually means a lot. It took a lot to get here to this point, so to have it come all together like this is just an incredible feeling, and I'm just going to ride it out for as long as I can.
All right, so you guys had a great road trip going to Watertown, Dayton, and Danville, going 2-1 on the weekend, and then taking both games this weekend on the road in Watertown and then at home, both games by 7-3. What kind of a roll is the team on right now?
Right now, we're just on a high where we all are just supporting each other. Just incredible right now. Everyone would die for one another, and that's what it takes to make a championship team. So that's why we're winning right now.
And what's it going to take to keep that going?
It's going to take sacrifice, a lot more hard work. Every game is just going to get harder and harder. After you beat teams, they just have a chip on their shoulder, and they want to beat you just that much more. So, expect more fights, expect more hitting. The only way you win in this league is with grit and passion, and I believe that we have it right now.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Berkshire Battalion's Mike Dolman talking about the 7-3 win over the Steel City Warriors. You're listening to the Berkshire Battalion Signal Corps podcast. Alan Ross here with you. Let's talk about the weekend upcoming as the Danbury Whalers come into town on Friday night, followed by a game down in Danbury on Saturday evening. And that'll all be wrapped up Sunday night with a game against Dayton. That Sunday game should be fun. There's a skate with the team after the game, so everybody bring your wheels, bring your skates down to the Peter W. Foote. You'll get a chance to skate around with some of the battalion players after they play the Dayton Demons.
Yep, the skates will be available for rental there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Darren keeps those things really sharp, too. As looking forward to the games against Danbury. Should be a really good home-and-home series. Danbury coming in with a 10-1, 1-3 record. Berkshire sporting a 6-2, 0-8 record. As the last time Berkshire went into Danbury, it was not a pretty sight. A couple of rough games for the battalion in Danbury, but that was facing a lot of injuries, a lot going wrong for the battalion. A totally different story this weekend coming in.
Yeah, there was some coaching instability going on there. If you wanted to tell about, if you know anything about what was going on with Coach Esposito there when he was suspended for a couple of games, do you have any insight?
I did some digging around. I tried to find out what had happened, and I couldn't get a word in edgewise. I guess there were some words exchanged between. I'm not sure if it was, and this of course is all rumor. Please don't take any of this as the God's honest truth, but. I had heard that it was either some sort of verbal altercation with a referee or with a fan between them and Coach Esposito. I'm not 100% certain on that. I've certainly, having worked with Coach Esposito, he's a very fiery guy, very passionate guy, especially when it comes to his Danbury Whalers players. And it's going to be very interesting. One thing that battalion fans, and especially I'm talking directly to the fans of the Armory right now, one player that they are going to love, absolutely love, is number 55 for the Danbury Whalers, the defenseman Julian Frazier. Now, Julian's from Calgary, Alberta, and he sports a mullet, believe it or not. And,
old-time flow.
And is missing a front tooth. And he's almost as if he plays a very similar style of game to Tristan Lisko. Lisko's, I think, a better skater, better with his hands. Certainly, I think, a better goal scorer than Frazier. Frazier had, I remember the season where Frazier had just had one goal on the whole season. Definitely a tougher character. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially considering that their tough guy Luke Warner, the Whalers' tough guy Luke Warner, has been loaned to the Southern Professional Hockey League now. Warner's up with Mississippi. He's actually going to be joining Lucas Van Natter, the Berkshire forward, who after only 3 games with the battalion, he's been loaned to Knoxville of the Southern Professional Hockey League. So congratulations to Lucas. We hope to see him stick up there.
That's first call-up.
Yeah, the first call-up for the Berkshire Battalion, which
How
is very
big
nice.
is Warner?
How big?
Yeah.
I think he's around 6'2".
So much bigger than Lisko.
Oh, much bigger than Lisko. Frazier is even bigger. Frazier is 6'3". 215 is what he's listed as, but certainly Frazier's a very big boy. He's going to make Dolman look a little bit small, actually. But he's also...
Goose, you never know. He's gone a couple times in the last couple home games, too, hasn't he?
He has. Actually, there's a good story about that, too. The fights that happened simultaneously in the Steel City game, the fights that happened simultaneously in the third period, or at the end of the second period, rather, between Dolman and Lobato, and then Guskov and it was Semenov. Was it Semenov or O'Malley? I can't recall exactly.
In the second period?
Yeah, the tail end of the second period.
But you know what? I'll tell you something, Alex. To be honest with you, my penalty score sheet is so messed up at this point.
Mine is too. Mine is too. But
there's 91. Edgar Zozelinski went away for a big one.
Yeah.
At the same time, that big fight with Rio and Unak.
Yeah, Rio was the one who fought Ozelins.
14. So it was that fight was Goose and Dolman against
Lobato and
96 Anthony
O'Malley. Yeah. Okay, so I was correct the first time. But very interesting to see. Dolman went up, skated over, and told Guskov that he was going to be fighting with Lobato. Guskov turns to him and he says, "Oh, the battalion always fight together. I'll go somebody too." And you got to love that kind of commitment from a team. Guys like that always jumping in, stepping in to protect their players. For instance, when Oslins was going after Riopel, Lisko coming in to join the scrum, although, frankly, having known Tristan for a little while now, I think there's very little that could provoke him to jump in and defend his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he will run in, and I think that goes back to something that Coach Farrell had said early on, and when the team had started first, they won the first batch of games, then started a 3 or 4 or 5 game losing skid, was that he was worried about the team's toughness.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can call that into question based on what we've seen in the last few games, for sure.
And one player who the battalion fans haven't become very familiar with, but might in the future, is Mike McCurtain, number 22, the big forward, 6'4", 220 pounds. Mike doesn't fight all the time. He fights very rarely, in fact, but he picks his spots, and when he picks his spots, watch out. He is a very, very tough customer, and it'll be having him in the lineup is going to certainly dissuade a lot of the bigger tough guys in the league. I wouldn't be surprised to see him and Frazier go in Danbury. I would, in fact, be very pleased.
Yeah, he's the biggest guy on the team now. McCurtain is 6'4".
Yeah, absolutely. As another good addition, speaking of big guys, Lester Brown, the Dutchman, he should be back this weekend. I haven't yet gotten confirmation from the coaching staff of the battalion, but he's been activated. Hopefully he's rehabbed that hip, as he is hopefully back now in Berkshire. He's got 4 goals, 2 assists on the season. That goal-scoring touch could certainly help out the battalion, especially this weekend against Danbury and Dayton.
Yep, and we see that Kaz is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Another little fast guy coming in to bring in some of that net front presence that he was doing pretty well at before. And to do that, I guess we had to say goodbye to Andrew Dads. Dadsy was a really great presence around the arena, and I think he was rapidly becoming one of the fan favorites.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the story was behind the waiving of Dads. I'll have to check in with the coaching staff. I haven't talked with Coach Farrell yet this week, so it'll be interesting to see. We'll have to find out what the story was with that. Hopefully we could see him return potentially later, a little on down the line. But as is, we wish him the best. He certainly played well this past weekend. But this upcoming weekend, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've, of course, make sure you guys get down to the Peter W. Foot on Friday night and Sunday night. Friday night's a 7:35 puck drop against the Danbury Whalers. Sunday night is a 4 p.m. puck drop against the Dayton Demons, as the Dayton's coming in with an 8-2, 1-4 record. But before they come into town to play the battalion, they have 2 games up in Watertown, so they could really come limping into, well, depending which Watertown team shows up, they could either, Dayton could come into North Adams on a real high note, or they could come limping into the town.
Or for that matter, which Dayton team shows up, the one that shocked Danbury in the cup final last year, or the one that's been losing to teams like, Danville.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, a big factor as well is we'll have to see if he travels on this trip. I've heard that their star player, Ahmed Mahfouz, is not making road trips with the team. We'll have to see if that continues, but certainly it'll be interesting. This should be a very, very good weekend, one I'm certainly looking forward to a lot. As
looking forward to this weekend a great deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Friday and Sunday games, and of course, make sure you stay after the game on Sunday for the skate with the team. You don't have to be a good skater. All you have to do is get out there on the ice. I'm sure some of the guys could give you a couple of pointers too as well.
Yeah, I might go in full goalie gear and see what happens.
I think you should. Oh, we should have
I'll
a
probably end up getting run over by 100 Rapid fans.
we should have a shooting contest on our PA announcer. That would be a lot of fun. We'll talk about that though. We'll work out the details and of course the health insurance as well.
Just get down there and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You might be you might get the show after the show.
Of course, I'm actually thinking I'll probably end up bringing my skates. I'll probably be out there as well. So if you ever wanted a chance to try and knock over a PA or a play-by-play announcer, that now's your chance. As should be a lot of fun though. But certainly looking forward to this upcoming weekend. And of course, the song you heard both beginning and now here on the podcast, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Creedence Clearwater Revival. For some reason, they picked this song as their victory song. And I don't know the story behind it. I want to find out the story behind it. But for now, we'll let it ride out. Thank you so much. This has been the Berkshire Battalion Signal Corps podcast. Al Kessler, Ross Jacobs here with you. We'll be back with you next Tuesday covering this upcoming weekend and the weekend after that. Ross, have a nice, safe time, and I'll be seeing you on Friday.
Thank you, and I will see you on Friday, and I'll see all the other fans down there, and we're going to go out and try to win one.
All right, Ross. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too.
See ya.
Bye-bye, everybody.